Have you ever thought about the sheer raw power of words? I mean, think about it. In an age where massive empires were rising and crumbling to dust, one voice quietly composed verses that literally outlasted mighty kings. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving straight into the awe-inspiring mystery of an ancient poet, a man whose carefully chosen words didn't wield power through armies, but actually shaped the moral imagination of humanity itself. So, who exactly was this poet? His name is thiruvalluvar, and he's a figure wrapped in almost total mystery. It's fascinating, really. His true identity remains completely hidden from history, yet his voice echoes so clearly across 2 millennia. We have no autobiographical glimpses, no personal anecdotes, nothing like that. We just have the pure, profound clarity of his convictions. To really grasp this ancient wisdom, we're going to methodically explore 4 things. First, the enigmatic poet himself. Second, the mathematical marvel of his universal guide. Third, the core pillars of his philosophy. And finally, his enduring global legacy. Let's kick things off with Chapter 1, The Enigmatic Poet. When we start looking for historical evidence, we're honestly faced with a fascinating lack of it. His timeline is wrapped in so much ambiguity. Scholars debate his life wildly, placing his date of death anywhere from 8 BCE all the way to the 4th or 5th century CE in Tamil Nadu. And even his upbringing is a total mystery. Stories depict him as either a simple weaver or a quiet, solitary sage. But honestly, this ambiguity just makes him that much more intriguing. Moving right along to Part 2, the Universal Guide. 1,330. That number represents the sheer scale of his massive work, the thiruvalluvar. But this text isn't just some random collection of thoughts. It's mathematically precise. It contains exactly 1,330 incredibly insightful couplets. It serves as this huge repository of wisdom on ethics, governance, love, and just everyday conduct. But here's what's truly astonishing. Each of those 1,330 profound lessons is distilled into perfectly balanced couplets of precisely 2 lines. 2 lines! You can think of them almost like ancient, profound tweets. He took these incredibly complex ideas about human existence and condensed them into the simplest possible form. He's inviting your personal reflection rather than just demanding obedience. And the mathematical structure doesn't stop there. To complete this deliberate architecture, all those 2-line couplets are organized into exactly 133 chapters. It's an absolute masterpiece of clarity and balance, completely avoiding any unnecessary fluff or ornamentation. Now, perhaps the absolute most crucial aspect of this masterpiece is that it is totally free from sectarian language. Unlike so many ancient texts that are deeply rooted in specific religious traditions, the thiruvalluvar speaks to all of humanity, period. It relies entirely on shared human experiences, choices, and struggles. It quietly suggests a way of living that nurtures harmony for everyone. Let's jump into Part 3, the core pillars. So thiruvalluvar breaks down a balanced, meaningful life into 3 fundamental pillars. First up is virtue, or autumn in Tamil, which focuses on your personal morality, things like truthfulness, gratitude, humility, and nonviolence. Next is wealth, or purul, which turns outward to society. This covers leadership, justice, and how to properly pursue material success. And finally, love, or inbam. Now notice this. He gives intimate relationships and emotional connection the exact same weight as civic duty and personal integrity. How modern is that? When we zoom in on that pillar of wealth, he presents a really striking contrast. He reminds us that material gain achieved alongside virtue, that brings true success. But any wealth achieved without an ethical foundation is just completely hollow. It's a pretty powerful warning that honestly rings incredibly true in our modern corporate world today. He applies that same logic to leadership too. Ruling with justice empowers a society, sure, but ruling without it, that won't just result in a leader's personal failure, it will literally bring ruin upon their people. He's always intensely focused on the practical, real-world consequences of our ethical choices. And that brings us to our final chapter, a global enduring legacy. The text has actually been translated into more than 40 languages over the centuries. But even with all those translations, expert translators still marvel at the immense challenge of doing it justice. The original Tamil is so concise and so profoundly layered with meaning that trying to capture that exact balance between poetic grace and practical relevance is just a monumental task. But despite those translation hurdles, its universal appeal has profoundly inspired some of the greatest global thinkers. I'm talking about people like Leo Tolstoy, who drew heavy inspiration from its measured guidance, and Mahatma Gandhi, who praised it deeply, literally saying that it contains all that is needed for the conduct of life. It really is viewed as the ultimate global guide for living. Today, his legacy isn't just sitting quietly in books. It's physicalized in these striking monuments. The most famous one is this massive 133-foot statue near Kanyakumari. And hey, remember that architectural structure of the text we discussed earlier? The height of the statue is no accident. Those 133 feet perfectly symbolize the 133 chapters of his celebrated work. It stands tall as this massive physical testament to his enduring moral vision. So, bringing this whole explainer back to our own lives right now, thiruvalluvar's ancient verses honestly serve as a surprisingly modern toolkit. They remind us to treat one another with dignity and empathy. They teach us to anchor our societal ambition with strong personal ethics. When it comes to love, he urges us to cultivate mutual respect over mere infatuation. And, crucially, he emphasizes building inner peace through self-restraint and patience. In a world where ideologies are constantly trying to divide us, these verses have this incredible power to quietly unify us. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a deeply personal question inspired by his timeless work. What exactly is your relationship between ambition and ethics? Like, how are you going to balance your own drive for success with your moral foundation tomorrow? Thiruvalluvar's voice hasn't faded over 2 millennia. It's still right here, challenging us and guiding us. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks your curiosity to go explore his amazing